Tonight, taxing times in federal politics, the government works to sell its Stage 3 tax cuts while debate reignites over negative gearing. More than 30 people are recovering from carbon monoxide poisoning after attending an ice hockey arena in Adelaide. Australia's best in film and television celebrated on Queensland's Glitter Strip. And an Australian out to make Super Bowl history at America's biggest sporting event. Good evening, Jessica Van Vonderen with ABC News. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says the government is not considering changes to negative gearing as pressure mounts on the government to do more to address housing affordability. He says the only tax reform being considered is changes to the Stage 3 tax cuts. But the Shadow Treasurer insists it could still be on the agenda. Here's political reporter Evelyn Manfield.
Lovely to have you in Ballarat. Very big welcome.
Out of Canberra, but unable to escape questions on tax.
What we're doing is putting in place a tax cut for every Australian worker.
The government continuing to defend its changes to the Stage 3 tax cuts as the coalition,
Angus Taylor, welcome to the program,
shifts gears.
We won't support changes to negative gearing. That's their intent. We know they're considering this. Their answers in the parliament on this this week were very wishy-washy.
That's not something that we're proposing, not something that we are considering, not something that we are working up.
Negative gearing allows landlords who lose money by paying out more in interest and maintenance than they're receiving in rent to offset that loss and reduce the tax they pay.
Now is the time for reform on negative gearing and the capital gains tax discount because we are in a housing crisis.
It's not just tax, but the right to disconnect that'll continue to be a talking point in Parliament this week. The opposition says if it wins the next election, it'll repeal legislation that passed the Senate just days ago, giving workers the right to ignore calls and emails when they're not on the clock without being penalised. But it's another out-of-hours issue that's stolen the limelight. This video published by the Daily Mail shows Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce after falling off a planter box while on the phone.
It is up to Barnaby Joyce to explain the circumstances around this.
People love to jump to conclusions on these things, and I'm certainly not doing that, and I don't think anyone should.
Mr Joyce says he's very embarrassed. He'll be meeting with his coalition leaders this week. Evelyn Manfield, ABC News, Canberra.
Israeli forces claim to have new evidence linking the main UN aid agency in Gaza with Hamas. Troops have revealed a tunnel network running partly under the agency's headquarters, but the UN says the building's been unstaffed for months. It comes as new details emerge over a missing 6-year-old Palestinian girl whose body has now been found. And a warning, some viewers may find this story distressing.
Heartbreaking horror in Gaza. The body of a 6-year-old Palestinian girl is found in a bullet-ridden car. Trapped and surrounded by her dead relatives, Hind Rajab pleaded with rescuers in a telephone call for 3 hours to be saved. Two paramedics were sent, but they wouldn't reach her. The Palestinian Red Crescent has accused Israeli forces of killing them. Hind's mother had been waiting for news, holding her notebook where she'd been practicing her handwriting.
For every person who heard my voice, my daughter's pleading voice, yet did not rescue her, I will question them before God on the day of judgment.
The Israeli military says it's discovered tunnels underneath the main headquarters of the UN aid agency UNRWA in Gaza City, saying it's found new evidence Hamas exploits the UN.
This place is one of the Hamas's intelligence units, where they command most of the combat from here, but from the underground.
UNRWA says it left the building on October 12 and denies knowledge of Hamas activity.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has suggested the next phase of his invasion will be in the southern city of Rafah, the so-called safe zone where more than 1 million Palestinians have already fled to. Israel says it's preparing an evacuation plan, but there's virtually nowhere left for these Gazans to go.
Also waiting for the news of their loved ones, desperate families of hostages taken by Hamas. They're demanding the Israeli government strike a deal now and quickly to bring them home. Alison Horn, ABC News, Jerusalem.
More than 30 people are recovering from carbon monoxide poisoning after attending a national women's ice hockey game in Adelaide. Spectators and players were taken to hospital when they began feeling unwell.
Adelaide's iconic ice arena in the hands of firefighters. Crews were called to the Theberton business about 3:30 this morning after a group of people who had been to the Adelaide Rush and Melbourne ice match the night before took themselves to an emergency department with suspected carbon monoxide poisoning.
Apparently they said they had a headache during the game or something. And there were like 6 ice resurfaces at that time later in the day.
The business was closed and ventilated to bring down high levels of the toxic gas, halting another game and children's birthday parties. It's believed the arena's ice resurfacer, which runs on liquefied petroleum gas, was responsible for the leak.
They pinpointed it to what they think is the Zamboni and the exhaust of the Zamboni, which operates on LPG gas.
The most important thing is that the people that we've seen attending hospital have had relatively low levels, so it must mean that the exposure was relatively low as well.
Those who got treatment were aged from late teens to early 40s. Many were soon discharged from hospital and all are expected to make a full recovery.
So far, everybody that I've contacted seem okay, so I just hope everybody is okay.
Health authorities say the building is still being monitored.
The Metropolitan Fire Service will keep a check on the levels that they have gone down, but we'll keep checking and make sure that when the arena opens, it will be absolutely safe for the public.
The arena is expected to reopen tomorrow. Imogen Hain, ABC News.
Queensland's problem-plagued registration system will be overhauled, with a long-running glitch seeing some P-platers upgraded to open licences before they were eligible. A separate error detected last year led to some drivers caught by camera wrongly slugged with double demerit points. The state government says the platform, which is now more than 30 years old, isn't up to scratch. $8 million has been set aside to look at replacement options.
It's basically been around since before the internet, so there's been a number of issues that have come to light. We've had a few reports on that. We're releasing those reports.
Some of Hollywood's biggest stars have descended on the Gold Coast to celebrate the nation's cinema and television awards. A horror film by 2 YouTubers took out 8 actor awards, while homegrown talent Margot Robbie received the Trailblazer Award for her body of work.
Glitz and glamour galore on the Gold Coast. Celebrated stars and up-and-comers alike honoured at the Actors.
Our amazing cast, our amazing crew were able to do it our way, the Aussie way, and it was the best decision we ever made. So everyone, let's keep working together, helping each other.
Horror flick Talk to Me took home 8 awards, including Best Film and Best Screenplay. Emotions were high for one of its stars who won Best Lead Actress.
I don't think that I can do what I do without the kind of hard work and passion and artistry of every single person who works on a project.
First-time actor Aswan Reid won Best Lead Actor for The New Boy at just 11 years old. On the small screen, the ABC's The Newsreader took out Best Drama Series. Id Star won Best Lead Actress in a Drama.
This is really special because I actually graduated high school in this auditorium.
Book adaptation The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart walked away with 4 gongs.
This is the series' 12th nomination.
But all night there was just one name on everyone's lips. Even Cate Blanchett's Barbie-worthy outfit couldn't upstage the woman of the moment.
To one of my and everyone's favourite performers and people, Margot Robbie.
The Hollywood star won the prestigious Actor Trailblazer Award, as well as the International Award for Best Lead Actress in Film for her role as Barbie.
To be here on the Gold Coast receiving this tonight, knowing that all my wildest dreams really did come true, is unbelievably special to me, and I cannot thank you enough, actors, for giving me this moment.
A Gold Coast girl at heart with a passion for local film and television.
But the biggest reward for me is having the privilege to blaze a trail for others to traverse.
Julia Andre, ABC News, Gold Coast.
King Charles has thanked the public for their support in his first statement since being diagnosed with cancer. The 75-year-old monarch said, as all those who have been affected by cancer will know, such kind thoughts are the greatest comfort and encouragement. The King is staying at Sandringham while being treated for an unspecified form of the disease. His cancer was detected while undergoing treatment for an enlarged prostate in January. Pakistan has been plunged into even deeper political turmoil with allegations of vote rigging and uncertainty over which party can form government. Despite a military crackdown, the party of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan has claimed the most seats, but his supporters fear they may be barred from forming a coalition.
Anger outside Pakistan's election commission in Karachi. Supporters of Imran Khan's PTI party say they fear their election wins are being snatched away.
We will fight for our rights, as we have done in the past.
Their candidates, forced to run as independents, won more seats than any other party. But their leader remains behind bars, and some fear they may not be allowed to form government.
They have stolen our mandate. We are going to have to get stay orders from the courts.
Anger too from the Islamist party TLP, its supporters joining the chorus condemning the voting irregularities. They also fear more vote tampering while the ballot count is delayed. Thursday's elections were marred by violence, a nationwide mobile phone shutdown, and accusations of rigging. Both Imran Khan and his main rival Nawaz Sharif claimed victory on Friday, despite Sharif's party seat count way behind. The chair of Khan's party believes they can find coalition partners to form government.
So we will decide in due course which party we are going to join and how we are going to proceeding. We trust every institution. We are just asking them to respect this mandate of the public. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less.
Trust and hope in a time of upheaval and multiple challenges for a country of 241 million people. Meghna Bali, ABC News.
A former military general accused of human rights abuses and the fatal kidnapping of activists is poised to become Indonesia's next president. 72-year-old Prabowo Subianto is the clear frontrunner for the presidential election taking place on Wednesday. More than 2 decades on from his alleged crimes, the perennial candidate is riding a wave of youthful support as 200 million people prepare to vote.
On a hot afternoon in the city of Semarang, Prabowo Subianto is working the crowds. No stranger to election rallies across this archipelago nation, Prabowo, as he's known, is in his 4th straight campaign.
Almost every poll says that we're going to win in one round. But let's not be careless. Let's not be complacent.
This time around, he's reinvented himself to tone down the strongman image that failed to propel him to victory in past elections.
Political elites in Jakarta often scold me for being rude when I talk. I'm a former soldier. This is just the way I am. I don't do sweet talk. I don't talk in circles.
Straight talking, which seems to have won the support of many young voters this time around.
Prabowo is firm, honest, wise.
Prabowo is extraordinary. He has diligently and consistently run for president, despite having failed a few times.
Many weren't even born during the most infamous period of Prabowo Subianto's past. In 1998, as the regime of Indonesia's autocratic leader Suharto was crumbling, the special forces, then under Prabowo's command, kidnapped and tortured 22 activists. 9 survived and returned, 13 were never seen again.
My son was very active. He didn't want to see injustice happening before his eyes.
Payun's son Utok is among the 13 activists who were never found.
Because it's been 25 years. I just want legal certainty on what happened and the whereabouts of my son.
Prabowo Subianto has made comments over the years acknowledging involvement in the kidnappings of the 9 who survived. He said circumstances were different and he was defending the nation. But he's now more dismissive.
They accuse me of doing this and that, a coup plot, abducting activists, killing them, etc. Well, what can I say, huh? This is democracy. If people believe those accusations, simply don't vote for me.
He's never admitted or been directly linked to the missing 13 and their presumed killings. He was, however, dishonourably sacked from the military for his tactics.
Whatever happened back then, Prabowo should not be president. Once he's in that role, our search for answers will be over. There's no more hope to fight.
Payan and the families of the other victims, for now, maintain their search for answers. Monthly protests outside the presidential palace calling for these decade-old cases to be properly investigated. Despite promises to address human rights cases, outgoing President Joko Widodo has made little progress in 10 years. Now his son Gibran is Prabowo Subianto's pick for vice president. The youthful running mate is helping recast the former soldier's image to a new generation with a cute and cuddly style.
It's not position that I'm after, it's not rank that I seek. I just want to see the people prosper.
If Prabowo Subianto can win at least 50% of the vote, then this tilt at the top job will be third time lucky for him. If his 2 rivals combined can prevent him winning a majority, then he'll have to go to a runoff in June.
Prabowo and his team are desperate to avoid a longer campaign for a runoff poll. And they're increasingly confident they'll seal the victory in one go this week. Bill Birtles, ABC News, Semarang, Central Java.
Billions of people around the world have gathered to ring in the Lunar New Year and usher in the Year of the Dragon. Revellers filled the streets of Hong Kong for parades and colourful dances in the first celebration since pandemic restrictions were lifted. In mainland China, travel numbers are expected to reach historic levels, with hopes the annual rush will give a boost to the economy. Festivities will continue for the next 2 weeks. Well, Australian borrowers struggling with rising interest rates look set for some relief in 2024. But for those looking to get into the market, there's little to look forward to. As the ABC's Alan Kohler explains, the affordability crisis is starting to really bite in cities you may not expect.
You're probably aware that house prices went up again last year, even though interest rates kept rising as well. And you won't be surprised to learn, of course, that this made houses less affordable. The house price to income ratio kicked back up to 7.5. But there are a couple of things that might surprise you. Adelaide became the second least affordable Australian city last year. And despite rising prices and crushing interest rates, first home buyers were the fastest growing type of borrower.
Here's affordability by city. Sydney's way out in front, of course, as the least affordable Australian city. Is one of the least affordable in the world. But Adelaide has just taken over from Hobart in second place. Hobart, I hear you say? And Adelaide? What about Melbourne? Well, this graph is dwelling value to local income. And the average income in each city is different. Adelaide's median house price is 7.9 times local average income. And when it comes to rent, Adelaide is actually number 1. The worst place in the nation to be a tenant. What's going on? Well, put simply, incomes in Adelaide, Hobart and Brisbane are not keeping up with house prices, which are being pushed up by fast rising population and by first home buyers. Loans to them surged 21% last year to be the fastest growing category of buyer. They now represent almost 30% of borrowers.
So what's going on with that? Well, that's simple too. The bank of mum and dad coughing up early inheritances and politicians showering them with grants and concessions, desperate to appear to be doing something about affordability while actually making it worse. When my wife and I bought our first house in 1980, the average house price was 3.5 times average incomes. Now it's 7.5 times and rising. That didn't have to happen. It's Australia's worst economic mistake.
Australia has thrashed South Africa by 110 runs in a rain-affected women's one-day international at North Sydney Oval. The tourists were chasing a revised target of 238 from 31 overs, but were all out for 127. Leg spinner Alana King took 4 for 26. Australia will win the multi-format series outright if it has a draw or a victory in the test match later this week.
To be able to flick to another format is hopefully becoming more adaptable and easier to do, but I think it is still a challenge when you're going across 3 formats with pretty much the same squad.
In the A-League men's competition, the Western Sydney Wanderers have drawn 3-3 with Newcastle after having 2 players sent off. A brilliant double from Lockie Brook had put Western Sydney ahead, but when Tate Russell gave away a penalty and was issued a second yellow card, the Jets were able to equalise from the penalty spot and then go ahead. But a stoppage time header from captain Marcelo helped the Wanderers claim a point in a controversial fixture. In the A-League Women's, a late winner from recalled Matilda Chloe Lagazzo helped Western United to a 3-2 win over Brisbane that takes them to second place on the ladder. American surfer Caitlin Simmers has beaten Australian Molly Picklum in the final of the Pipe Pro in Hawaii. 21-year-old Picklum had a perfect 10 ride in her semi-final win and headed into the final with confidence. 18-year-old Simmers won a hard-fought decider by just over 2 points to claim her 3rd victory on the championship tour. In the men's final, Baron Mamiya scored a perfect 10 during his win over fellow Hawaiian John Florence.
We were so blessed today to have Pipeline in its absolute best day of days, and to be out there with Katie, it was amazing. And yeah, I don't know, I just was enjoying every moment and just enjoying the rides.
Australian sporting history may be made tomorrow, with Mitch Wishnowsky hoping to become the first Aussie to play in and win a Super Bowl. The West Australian punter will line up for the San Francisco 49ers against the Kansas City Chiefs in one of the glitziest NFL finales ever.
Mitch Wishnowsky has already made a splash in the NFL.
And Wishnowsky had to take it. He might get it. Wishnowsky's going to run for the first down and more.
But come tomorrow, the former Perth tradie may have etched his name into Australian sporting folklore.
Those guys are doing it.
For the second time in 4 years, the 31-year-old punter for the San Francisco 49ers will take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the grandest show in American sport. And this time, he wants to leave with a history-making triumph.
It would be cool to sort of, be the first Australian and, hopefully, inspire people back in Australia.
He sold his house to move to Melbourne to fund his time in America initially, so credit to him for giving it everything that he had.
Wishnowsky's quest for immortality takes place on a Super Bowl stage like no other. Las Vegas hosts the 58th edition of the NFL's championship game, with the Kansas City Chiefs looking to go back-to-back and win it for the 3rd time in 5 years. Usher will be headlining the famous halftime show, but another musical megastar in Taylor Swift will garner most of the attention ahead of her Australian tour, with her boyfriend Travis Kelce looking for another Super Bowl victory with the Chiefs.
We love to shine light on others, shine light around the people that help and support us. And on top of that, I feel like we both have just a love for life.
But it's the 49ers and their Aussie punter who may just ruin that American fairy tale. Daniel Garb, ABC News.
A historic gold mining town in North Queensland is now home to Australia's largest handmade mosaic mural. 5 million tiny tiles on an 80-metre long wall tell a tale that it's hoped will lure curious travellers to Charters Towers.
Stretching 80 metres long and 7 metres high, this roadside creation is hard to miss. But take a closer look and you'll discover more than 5 million tiny tiles, telling the tales of a town's gold mining time.
Not only do we have an incredibly rich history to Charters Towers, we've got somebody willing to tell the story in such a way. It's I don't think you can find anything like this in regional Australia.
Artist Trisha Lambie spent 9 months on a series of paintings recreating historical photographs. Her vision was later converted to massive mosaics.
I had to sort of immerse myself in that history and bring it to life.
Gold put Charters Towers on the map in the late 1800s. The town was once the second largest in Queensland. Historian Michael Brumby dug into the archives to help bring the mural to life.
Unlike a painting on a wall, it'll be with us for hundreds and hundreds of years to remind us of the history of Charters Towers.
The work pays special tribute to Jupiter Mossman, credited with first discovering the region's gold.
It was a terrible storm, lightning all around, and it spooked the horses, so Jupiter was the one who had to go and find them, and in doing so he found the gold.
The mural is a finalist in the Australian Street Art Awards, with the winners to be crowned in March. Victory or not, the mosaic's real success will be in its ability to stop traffic.
This is, of course, one of the busiest roads in North Queensland. If you can get people to stay just for an extra couple of hours, it's beneficial to your town.
Lily Nothling, ABC News, Charters Towers.
Weather now with Jenny Woodward. And Jenny, some storms about today.
Yes, Jess, there were some severe cells over the southwest this afternoon. Hello, everyone. Now, Warrilda, which is near Charleville, had 34 millimetres and some isolated showers about eastern districts too. But there were some showers near Townsville where Saunders Creek recorded 30 millimetres. And earlier in the day, Mornington Island had 88 in just an hour. King tides this weekend, and John was watching the waves crashing on Currumbin Beach. While at Roslyn Bay at Yeppoon, there were jellyfish on the sand after the big seas. Thanks, Robin. The Wondai Golf Club is very green at present, and Alan caught a rainbow arching over the fairway, while Catherine enjoyed this spectacular display over the Conondale Ranges. Well, 39 degrees, the top temperature at Birdsville today. Longreach and Thargomindah hit 37 and it was 33 at Gladstone. Only very light showers about the metro area, 31 the top, but the southeasterly winds made it feel a little bit more comfortable, and currently it's 26. Onto the satellite, and you can see that weak trough in the west. That's triggered the unsettled weather, but the monsoon is brewing across the north, and we can expect another burst of very wet conditions this week. But mainly clear skies over southern states, and it'll be sunny and very hot in Adelaide tomorrow, 38 the top. Melbourne's heading for 35 and Hobart 27 degrees. Onto the chart, and tomorrow we're expecting that weak trough in the west to continue to trigger those showers and storms, while the Tasman high here is maintaining the ridge and bringing coastal showers, especially between Mackay and Hervey Bay, where there's a bit of a surge going through, and there could even be some severe storms. Now, by Tuesday, that low is expected to push into the Gulf and possibly wind up to a cyclone strength later in the week. In any case, we will see an increase in rain and storms right across the tropics, with some heavy falls possible. Let's check the forecasts, and there's the chance of some showers and storms right across the north tomorrow. 31 the top for Cairns and Townsville. Charters Towers is heading for 36. Showers and storms possible across the southern and central interior, and there is the risk of some severe cells, most likely west of Charleville and south of Longreach, while on the coast, Gladstone can expect a shower, 32 the top. Some cloud about the southeast, showers possible on the coastal fringe and into the eastern downs, 26 in Toowoomba, 31 for Dalby, and cloud and more showers on the way for Brisbane and the metro area, but not much in it. Generally east-southeasterly winds and 29 to 30 degrees. On Moreton Bay, southeasterlies to 20 knots, turning easterly in the evening, and then showers are possible for the rest of the week, but more likely on Thursday when there's also the chance of a thunderstorm, and just those temperatures are going to stay in the low 30s.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. That is ABC News for this Sunday. Thank you for your company. More news on our website and on iView. But for now, good night.
Good night.